Good morning. Welcome to the Java Cafe, Java fam.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Listen, I got a whole bunch of stuff here in the background to make sure we get you a good production this morning. As you know, as I've been announcing all over social media with reels and flyers, because we want to make sure that folks are engaged in this conversation and listen to what the governor has to say. On Friday, I had the opportunity to sit with, and as I've learned, it's not the honorable when you're the governor. Political protocol or parliamentary procedures, Robert's Rules of Order, I guess when they come to government, is that a governor is considered his or her excellence. And so I'm going to ask you to do me a favor. I'm going to kind of do that old school. We're not going to get started, not old school, but some creatives wait for a certain amount of folks to quote unquote come in the room. And so though we're going to leave this up in what's called evergreen, let's invite some people into the room. So those of you that are in here now, go hit the share button and just share the live. And so I'll wait for y'all to do that. Let's go over at Instagram and see who is over there. Real quick, we want to say what's up to Shakira's story. Will Dickerson is over there. Good morning to you. Merry Christmas Eve to you, Shakira and Will Dickerson. Borga as well. Mrs. Gigi over on Instagram. Good morning to you, to see you guys over there. Let's go over on Facebook and see who is in the room in the Java Cafe. Naraki Jordan, good morning. Good to see you in the room this morning. Mama Java, good morning to you. Good to see you in the room. Also, Pastor Marion, good morning to you. Good to see you. Tay, good morning to you. Good to see you in the room this morning. So do me a favor, Naraki, thank you for hitting that share button, and others, Mama Java, Pastor Marion, Tay, go in and hit that share button and invite others into the Java Cafe so we can get this conversation started with our Governor Healey. And so let's go ahead. One of the things I wanted to do, Pastor Drumright, our good, I don't know if we're going to give him the nickname of Pastor Java, but from Nashville listening in. Kenya, good morning. Good to see you in the room. I'm going to get you all, Pastor Drumright, Kenya, hit that share button. Pastor Drumright may not be as relevant to you there in Nashville, but Kenya, go ahead and hit that share button, tag a couple of people, because the governor is very candid about a couple of things in reference to, we're going to talk about liquor licenses. I took her through a little bit of good, bad, and ugly, and we started backwards because, you know, I like to end on a good note. And so with the conversation with the governor, we're going to, after that, feature some music from a broadcast that we did last year with a former media partner. And after that, we will be done until Friday. Tomorrow's Christmas. I'm taking Thursday off. Friday, we're going to speak with Carlos Enriquez. Some of you know that a few months ago, I shared some of my intersections. I put at the top here, I love God. I'm a black man who was gay and grew up in the hood, bruh. If you watched that first episode a couple of months ago, there was a lot there. There were some things that were realized in real time. And so Carlos actually was in conversation with the first host. I want to thank Simone Miles, who did that first conversation. And Carlos said, Jimmy, we need to have a different conversation. And so we're going to do that on Friday at 1 p.m. And that will be our last broadcast for the year. We will not be live at all next week. Will I probably share some old videos and program some videos for 10 o'clock next week? Probably on Monday and Tuesday, not Wednesday. And that's it. Maybe Monday and Tuesday. Maybe we'll show videos from Coach Meg, who has come in the last couple of years and got us ready for a new year, new you. We have some exciting things planned for you in the first full week in January. And so, listen, we're going to go ahead and get started with our governor, and go ahead. And again, for those of you that didn't, go ahead and hit that share button. Again, shout out to the folks over on Instagram. We're going to go ahead and begin the conversation with our governor, and we'll be back with you. It's about 25 minutes or so. And so right after that, we're going to come back and listen to Angela Elizabeth and also Amandi Music, both from Boston. And Amandi, we're going to share conversation with him about his concept around the concept of crawling. So we're going to talk with him. But first, Her Excellence, Governor Maura Healey. Hello, my name is James Jimmy Hills, and I'm the host of Java with Jimmy, and we are chatting with Governor Healey today. Last year, we had the opportunity to come and chat with her and see a lot of the art that she installed in her office by Black artists. And so to me, this is becoming, because it was around the holidays, so this is becoming sort of an annual thing. But Governor, thank you for the opportunity today to come speak with you. How you doing?
I'm doing well. It's so good to see you. And
it's good. Can
Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays.
Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Hanukkah, and what was the old saying? Happy Festivus and Christmas Kwanzaa.
Wow,
like that.
You're pulling that out. That's from the way back. Good for
yeah,
you.
Adam Sandler. I have to ask you, Governor, as I do, with people like yourself that advocate for an entire state, coming off a few weeks of a very confirmation of a maybe upcoming interesting time for our country again, I have to ask you, with all due respect, how is Maura doing?
You know, I'm doing well. It's been a hard year,
Yes.
In part because, Jimmy, we got a ton of stuff done. Like, I'm so proud of like what we were able to do this year. It was also, there were campaigns, there was elections. I was working hard for Kamala Harris, working hard, for races here and in other states. And we didn't get the result. I didn't get the result that I wanted at the top of the ticket. So, it is, it's a time of year where I think everybody's feeling, and I'm feeling a little bit like I need a reset, right?
Yes,
I need
indeed.
a reset, which I will get over the holiday. But I'm doing personally like well,
okay.
Which is good. And I encourage everybody to do, we're all going to have our good days and bad days.
Absolutely.
But I think it's really important to focus on your own self-care,
Yes,
because you cannot take care of others unless you take care of yourself,
Yes.
So
that's become such a forgive me for any, a trending thing that I don't think we really do it the way that we should.
Yeah.
One of the things...
But at least we're talking about it now.
And that...
just like mental health generally,
yes,
we're destigmatizing, we're talking about these
yes,
things.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for that. When I was talking with the staff about a couple of things that I would like to chat with you about, I said, let's take a approach that I often do and look at the year. And typically, it's, good, bad, and ugly. We're going to go sort of in backwards of ugly, maybe not ugly, challenges, smaller challenges, and then the good. I want to end on the good. One of the things, Governor, if you were to ask me by observation, I think you did the best you could and handled it well, with the cast, the airport. Our migrant brothers and sisters, a lot not by choice, we're here. You're mandated. And certain line items and stuff per budget can only go to those particular areas with our migrants. That was the area that it was very challenging. How do you feel about it now, and where are we with our migrant brothers and sisters? It's one of the things that, it was a good year, got a lot done, but that was one of the things that was done just in a very challenging manner.
Certainly challenging because immigration really is a federal issue.
Yes.
And I said for a long time, Congress, you've got to act. We need reform at the border.
Mm-hmm.
We need more agents down on the border, more controls. Although, interestingly, Biden's deported, I think, 120,000 people this year, which is the most since Obama, actually.
Okay.
But that aside, this is a federal issue, right?
Yes.
So as a governor, I don't have much control over who's coming into the state because the feds control entry into the country. And there's this law here that requires us to house people in the state when they're unhoused. But I took this approach, Jimmy, that, we got to comply with the law, but
Yes.
I also have to put limits on it too. I mean, until and unless the legislature changes that, I've got to work within what we've got. And, that meant standing up shelters and places. The goal for me always was to get people into permanent housing, get them work authorization, get them working. That's happened. 4,000 people have been processed and are already out there with work authorizations. I've also sent a team to the border to say, Massachusetts is not a sanctuary state. Don't come here and expect
You've
housing.
sent a team to.
I did. I sent the team down to the
Yep.
border several months ago to get that message out. And then, tried to work with community. And I'm really grateful to the Roxbury community in particular. I think what we did at the CAS
yes.
is really something. Like, it was a property that needed repairs, by the way, before I started as governor. And we used it as an opportunity to, one, house migrants for a relatively short period of time. Two, give business to suppliers, vendors, restaurants, cleaning companies.
And there was a specific focus there, and we're going to go into that in a few minutes.
Big time. There had to be, because I wanted this to be good for the Roxbury community and an investment in Roxbury. And three, importantly, we just celebrated this, let's reopen with an upgraded CAS.
Right.
That came about because of partnership with local and city leaders, city councilor, looking at Liz Miranda and others involved in this. It was, it's actually, I think, a good example of community working together, right?
Community and
a
government.
problem. Community and government, right. And so, look, the overall issue with the migrants is this. I put a cap on this. We've made reforms to our shelter system, which frankly should have been made years ago, so that we have more support for homeless families. By the way, in shelter right now, 65% of these families are Massachusetts families. They're not migrant families, which is also why I prioritize getting that housing bill done so that we could build more housing.
For people, one quick thing, and I don't want to go too much, and I'm sure you're aware and heard of it, there was a sentiment that, and again, we understand it's important to have these conversations. There was a sentiment among those that were here in the country and not migrated here, that they didn't feel that their priorities were being...
Yeah, I think there are people, I think there's it was within the Black community, within Latino community,
the
right?
veteran community,
there was a feeling like people are jumping the line, right?
Yes.
And that was a federal designation. Remember, federal allowed to come in, allowed them in lawfully, gave them humanitarian parole status. And for people who've been working hard here, who barely make ends meet, who've been waiting for apartments to open, waiting for housing, there was understandable resentment. I get that.
Yes, ma'am.
So I've tried to do a couple things. Deal with the new arrivals as they were coming in, right? And I think we've got controls on that. The numbers are going down. Trump better fix it. He ran on immigration, said he was going to fix the border.
I wish I had my coffee. Woo, go ahead.
Let's have at it. Let's see what you do, okay? Because you've got the House, you've got the Senate. Let's act. Let's act on the federal level. But also, really important to focus on meeting the needs of Massachusetts residents, looking at what we can do to lower costs, build more homes, create economic opportunity.
Yes.
I want to talk about that too, but it was a challenge because you're dealing with a lot of feelings too, right? A lot of vitriol.
That part.
Because on the national, people are watching national media, and you see what's happening there in the rhetoric, and that filters down into our communities.
There is, I got to say though, there is a sentiment here because of you. And in our city, you do the whole state, but in our city where I'm from, you and Mayor Wu. And we have an advantage with you because you were the Attorney General in the first administration. So you have a different lens to maybe help and inform our current Attorney General. But then in the role of governor, for it to be informed from a lawful experience is, I think we're really blessed here to have our governor. I want to ask one thing before we get to sort of the good, a little bit in the vein of a couple of things you said. Challenging, one of the spaces that was challenging as well, and you really had some, I don't know if the state had some control or whatever, but you couldn't go into a private institution named Kearney Hospital. That is something that is a issue, and I think that has been challenging as well. And I know there's been a lot of different approaches, what the state could do and privatizing and whatnot, but it is one of those, is it another one of those convoluted, just with the migration, it was Fed level. With this, with Kearney, it's corporate, it's...
Yeah. So I think on the Kearney Stewart situation, the problem that we have is Stewart's a for-profit actor. Stewart came in and took over the Caritas system, which included Kearney, and it's a for-profit system. And, they weren't, in a for-profit situation, that's where corporate greed sneaks in. When I was Attorney General on this, I did what I could to fight them in court, to get them to produce financial documents showing what was happening. But there weren't any laws other than that that you could use in this situation, right? And so, that's what happens, and that's why they were in the situation that they were. I'll tell you, though, what I did do as governor on this, when Stewart announced it was filing bankruptcy, my commitment was to saving hospitals, saving jobs, and preserving the stability of the healthcare market. We did save 6 out of 8 hospitals, protected 13,000 jobs. Kearney, though, we weren't able to move on because there wasn't an operator who wanted to take over, right?
Which is out of your control.
Which is out of my control. And so, but here's what I have done on Kearney. I've worked with the mayor. We set up a task force, and we've got a team of stakeholders looking at Kearney in that area.
There was just a meeting Thursday.
Yeah, and it's like, what does healthcare in that area look like? What does the community need there?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it emergency services? Is it mental health services? Is it more community health? What does it look like?
Yes.
Because you've got this infrastructure there that we ought to take advantage of. So,
facility.
Totally, and that's why, we have people like Michael Curry, right?
Yes, from the League of Community Health Centers.
Yeah, and I worked with him when I was civil rights chief, and he was then head of the NAACP.
This is before AG?
Before AG, because I was head of civil rights. So we go way back. He knows my commitment to health equity. And, I'm actually looking at this as an opportunity to create something better for the community than what existed.
And informed by.
Well, it's got to be informed by. That's why we set up the task force, so that we could have it informed by the community.
Yes, ma'am.
What do the community needs, and what can we build to meet that?
Absolutely. That is, the Java with Jimmy space, moves in health equity, and with Michael and others to know that they're at the table with that. The Health Commission reached out and was like, Jimmy, we need to get folks there, can you help us? And so it's good to see that collaboration there. And people have to remember, as much as we want to be here in Boston-centric because we're the capital, got purview for the entire state.
I do. And Boston actually, relative to the rest of the state, has a lot of resources.
I mean, we are the medical, intellectual,
everybody else around the state complains that all the love's going to Boston.
Yes.
We see that with the T, and people out in Central Mass, down the Cape, out west. And as governor, I've got to manage that, because I am governor.
Yes.
For the whole state.
Say it again.
I am governor for the whole state.
Is it just
whether
coming
you
up on a year
voted
or
me for me or not? Yeah, I'm halfway through.
Halfway through, it's 2 years.
Yeah, I'm halfway through. It's a 4-year term. It is 2 years. I cannot believe it. It's gone so quickly.
So I'm still going to ask, has it settled? Has it really settled that you are the governor? Even in 2 years, I'm going to go ahead and ask.
Yeah.
It has, okay.
I got to tell you, I love being Attorney General. I loved being Attorney General. I have great respect and regard for that office. I love working with A.G. Campbell. He's doing a great job, terrific job. And I also really love being governor. I really do, and so.
You can kind of see it, because she's radiating today.
It's settled. We're in it every day. Okay. Every day, it's good.
It's settled.
Yeah.
With that, and you said it's good, I want to, in that challenging, a little bit more challenging, and we're going to perfectly say good. There are a lot of good things that have happened this year. I'm going to do them by priority for me. One of the first things that I saw, decreasing the wealth gap can often happen through the hospitality industry. And there has been inequity when it comes to liquor licenses. I want to also say that equity in liquor licenses is not promoting, overuse of alcohol, because I've heard some stuff. This is a wealth gap opportunity. This is a black space opportunity. This is a LGBTQ opportunity. The liquor licenses is one of the first things that stands out to me as good because there's so much impact there. Give me one word that describes where you were or whatever, you can put us in the moment, when you got the final that this had happened and there was no more barriers, no more debates, no more, what's the word, go to committee. Give me one word that describes when you got this over the hill.
Yeah. Well, it's
One word, Governor.
3 words.
You're the governor, okay, fine.
About damn time.
Okay, yes ma'am. Okay, yeah. Why do you say that? Because again, you do have these purviews as governor.
I know, but I go back to my time as civil rights
And that's
chief,
what I'm saying, civil rights AG.
Working at the time with then City Councilor Ayanna Pressley.
Yes.
So, credit to Congresswoman Pressley for continuing to push on this, and to the legislature and the Boston delegation for getting this done. And I was sure proud to sign it. We had a great signing ceremony.
I did. I saw some of it.
Joy, right? Because it's not about selling more alcohol. It's about creating spaces where people are going to want to go, and thereby,
if there's an option, because people do celebrate sometimes. It comes
it's all
with it.
good, but we know that. We know the importance of these liquor licenses, what they need for economic mobility, opportunity for our entrepreneurs and our small businesses, and
nonprofits,
it's
because
going to unlock so much. It's great.
Okay, all right. One more thing, and then I want to ask you to say something to 2025. Today, Governor, again, I'm owning that. It's Boston, but this has had a national impact when it comes to police reform. Our city's a part of the state. There are 2 major things in Boston when it comes to racial equity that did not look well for us. One was the busing situation, and then there was the situation with the death of Carol DeMady Stewart, the Stewart case some years ago. And you, as someone who was in law, I'm sure is well aware of this case.
I was a little kid growing up in New Hampshire when that happened, or maybe just finishing high school.
Well, a little kid, I was a teenager,
Yeah.
Governor. Let me find out I'm older than you. Oh,
I
shoot.
don't know.
I'm not, you never ask a woman. But the thing, and it's
I'm
good
53 for the record.
we're the same age.
Hey!
Oh, okay.
My birthday's in February.
My birthday's in September, so you'll be 54 in February?
Yep.
You're older.
Okay,
so,
I'm
all right. In all seriousness, I'm glad we can have a light moment there, because that was a very heavy time in the city. I believe that police reform they looked at that case as police reform started coming up. The Bennett family was apologized to by Mayor Wu a year ago today. Actually, I think almost at the time that we're talking, down to an exact year to the hour. I want to ask you about just your impression of that. You've done, it's clemency. I don't know the term, no se per, to wish not to prosecute. What's the Latin term?
Yeah, we've done a lot on that.
Tell me
which
the term,
we can
though.
get to. I don't know the Latin term.
I asked the mayor this week,
Jimmy, the
and
Latin
she
term?
said it. Okay,
She
sorry.
said it.
There's a lot on clemency, and I want to ask you to speak to that. But then there is an ask from community governor with that family, just how there's a paper error that's holding up one of that family from just fully stepping into being free. And Joey Bennett was not wish to prosecute. Similar to what you're doing. Yes. Yeah, that one. Governor, I don't know.
Yeah.
But clemency, what you did with the marijuana,
Yeah.
there's a central line there of equity when it comes to racial justice. That is happening in what you did. But then there's this little thing with this one. So I can maybe offline.
We'll talk about that, because I don't know if there's anything that I can help with as
Yes,
governor.
ma'am. Yep.
I'd certainly want to do that. That was a horrific story,
Yes,
and
ma'am.
boy, and I appreciated the mayor apologizing last year for that on behalf of the city of Boston. Look, I come to this as somebody who was a prosecutor, as Attorney General, and also head of the Civil Rights Division. I mean, justice, fairness, equal treatment under the law is so important to me. And so I'm proud that I was the first governor in her first term to pardon people. I'm proud of the work we've done to reform our clemency guidelines, so more people can
Specifically around marijuana, you did something.
And then we separately pardoned, we for marijuana convictions, because it's really important to me that, you know, when people have paid their price, paid their debt
To society,
to
yeah.
victims, to society, to community, that we set them up for success. And that's why we invest in programs like no-cost calls in jails,
Yes.
because maintaining those family contacts are so important. And your family on the outside shouldn't be paying the price, literally, by having to pay for
literally.
those calls. It's why we're investing in programming when people re-enter. It's so important because we want to set them up for success.
Yes.
And when we see an injustice, we need to correct that. And that's why, you know, I've really leaned into the clemency
Yeah.
and to the pardons. It's about justice. It's about fairness.
Governor, thank you. We have 30 seconds. Can you look in the camera and give a greeting for the holidays
Yeah.
and a little bit about what you expect for 2025, and then end with saying, you're watching Java with Jimmy.
Okay, great. Well, look, let me just express to everybody, in addition to wishing you all a happy holiday, and love and good times with friends and family, self-care, please. Let's gear up for a great 2025. I also want to express gratitude because with your support, we were able to do some great things this year. You know, we cut taxes, and this year, families for every child are getting an extra $300 back. Next year, that will be over $400. We passed a major housing bill that's going to result in more housing around the state. We got rid of slow zones. People are able to move. We revamped our supplier diversity.
We didn't talk about you
it's
and
okay.
Nicole.
I'm
which
going
all
to talk about that.
We can
Nicole
come back.
Obi, love her. Beckma, she's co-chairing my task force on that. Supplier diversity, we've really improved the numbers. You know, we made community college free, so take advantage of that. There's so much we got done, and to me, it's just this economic development bill I just signed that we filed is awesome, especially for micro businesses and entrepreneurs and small businesses.
And women-owned businesses.
There's so much that I look forward to implementing
Yes.
and leaning into in 2025, and we will be ready to go for
That is
Boston
the word for this season.
and for Massachusetts.
Ready.
And as always, it's great to be with Java. It's great to be doing Java with Jimmy. You got to come back and see me. Did you tell everybody this is my office?
I did. So we went a little bit live
Okay.
while we were waiting as you were handling the state's business. And I love this aesthetic because what I told the audience was, I was like, it's not gaudy. It's so homely in here and welcoming and balanced as the governor should be. But it's you and the staff did a nice job in here.
Well, that's beautiful. And today, snow's falling.
It looks beautiful.
Right outside. We're looking out on Boston Common, and specifically, we're looking out on the memorial to the 54th, the regiment
means-
that one governor years ago sent, the all-black regiment from Boston, from right here,
To be right there.
to fight the war to end slavery. And that memorial is
Right
right
there.
there. And I love coming in this office every day
And
and
being
looking
reminded.
at and seeing that.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Governor, thank you. I love your
I usually wear red, but I thought you'd allow green today.
You're good. Give me a
Okay,
hug.
all right.
Thank you, Governor, for
Love you,
everything.
Jimmy.
And
Take
we'll
care,
talk to you
everybody.
guys soon. Thank you. You can hit the end of. You got to get to your
So we're back. I got a little caught up here, texting and whatnot. That was the opportunity we had with the governor. It is the second year in a row. And I did tell her that, you know, this is an annual thing. So shout out to Carissa, Valentina, Aaron from the Davis system, Obi from the corner, from the 345 corner 3 from the corner 345 photography, and also video. Did you all see the quality of that video? That brother came with me, set things up. We were very early, and so this time he did not have to handle me, and we didn't go live. So my Jimmy in event mode wasn't as interesting as it usually can be. I wanted to, Anthony is in the building. Thank you, brother. Let's just go through the comments. I'm not sure if anyone had any comments. Newt, I saw your comment and we're going to address that. Kenya, I saw your comment as well. Anthony is saying Merry Christmas. Newt brings up a point that I'm going to address in a few minutes, and that's kind of why we're going to play some holiday music today. Anthony says that thankful to have the governor we have and the commitment to continuing to improve the Commonwealth. We don't talk enough about the privilege we have in Massachusetts, especially in these times. So that's the thing that I've been trying to convey, that we have an advantage here. Interestingly, we did learn Massachusetts is not a sanctuary state. Boston is a sanctuary city. And, you know, and I've been the last couple of days thinking about, you know, on the 20th, the 18th, or somewhere around January 20th, you know, do we hold space with a mental health clinician? Do we hold space with an immigration attorney? Because we don't know. In that vein, you know, I've with this change coming, I've mentioned a few times that, you know, I feel a responsibility to keep us aware, but then also not trigger and over traumatize us. If you want that, you can watch regular mainstream news. We will stay up to date, but we have to have balance. With that being said, Newt puts a comment in today, and I saw a post from Miss Teresa on social media, and I've named this, and we actually did a show with Dr. Brandy about this, and I think a couple of weeks or right before Thanksgiving, we did a show about seasonal affective disorder. There is that. There is, for many, the first time of being without a loved one for the holidays. There is the 5th, 6th, 7th, 10th, 20th time to be without a loved one for the holidays. There is the financial strain, right, wrong, or indifferent. And as much as we come off judgy sometimes and say to people, don't keep up with the Joneses, in the moment, a parent may feel some sort of way about not being able to fulfill a Christmas list of their child. The economy is hard. I'll quote Edwin Hawkins: tragedies are commonplace. All kinds of diseases, people are slipping away. The economy's down and people can't get enough pay. But in gratitude, and in the song and in the verse, it says, thank you, Lord, for all that you've done for me. With all that's going on, we want to be real about where we are. And I have to share a resource. If you were really feeling some sort of way, I don't know what the numbers are, but there are probably increased numbers of death by suicide this time of year. There are those that self-medicate, drink more, smoke more, sex more this time of year. And so what Newt brings up, not as deep as I'm going, but I wanted to cover all bases. It's real. Do your best to be around family and friends, not only this time of year, but especially because there is a tone set. I'm going to be balanced and say for some of you, family will not be the place that you will be, because for some, family is triggering and traumatizing. Let's keep it 100. Be around some folks. And if for those of you that in a healthy manner prefer to isolate, get some good food, do a seafood boil, order that steak, have a couple of glasses of wine, espresso martini, do you in isolation. However, be aware. Few people have shared with me in the past few days that they have found themselves literally in the dark. That is real for many. So I named this today to let those of you that are listening now on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube and LinkedIn, if you're watching the Afterwatch, you're not alone. And it's not just you that's dealing with this. Many of us are fighting this time of year to stay positive, to stay peaceful, and to what this time of year induces in society love, family, peace, and joy. So with that said, we affirm that it's real for you, but we also let you know that there's a community here. There's a community that you may have formed and family you formed for yourself. Tap into them. Okay? We're going to be good. With that, I would like to encourage us. And it's so interesting that this first artist that I'm going to share with you today, he broke down last year the concept of crawl. And so it is my honor and pleasure. I told him about 10:30, I'm going to share his video today, but we're a little bit late because of that real commentary. Before we share that, Auntie Java's in the room. Merry blessed Christmas to all citizens of Java land and to all my special peeps from Auntie Java. Good tidings and great joy. Absolutely. We're going to
correlate what's going on in the inside with you.
All right. We're going to share this with you. I didn't know I was running my mouth right there. It was queued up. And so I asked him to correlate. I mentioned the fact that, you know, he's very fashionable. And I asked him to correlate the inner and the outer appearance. And so we're going to tap into that right now. And he's also going to perform 2 songs for us. And so here is Amandi Music. We will be back with you after his performance.
Because that is often, sir.
Yeah, so a big thing for me is that I always saw myself this way, even when I was 400 pounds. I just didn't have access to those things to be able to put it on. So a lot of times when I get dressed now, it's not just based on what I want to look like aesthetically. It's about how I feel on the inside.
That part, yes.
Right? So whether I'm going to the gym, whether I'm putting my outfit together, because I go to the gym styled up every day, because whether I want to get under that weight or not, it's not going to change. It's still going to be heavy. But I want to feel something, right? And I feel like a lot of that is missing today. We don't feel enough of everything. We're stuck in a simulation. We're going through the motions of things, and we don't even know how to really like cheer ourselves on and kind of pull ourselves out of that mode. Fashion is just one of the things, because your reflection is one of the things you probably see just as much as you see other people.
Yes.
So when you walk by and you see yourself, what are you really seeing? You want to see the things that you hope to become, or do you want to see the things that you're going through? So I just really try to focus on that as much as possible, to put myself in a space, in a place where I'm not what I look like. I don't look like what I've been through, you know?
Now, you know, we can easily go there, but we're not.
Yes, God is good.
Just don't do it. The other piece I want to ask you about is your artistry is very unique. You're not a typical male R&B vocal artist. Can you talk to the importance of embracing your own? You talk about that reflection. Some people aren't comfortable with their reflection because it doesn't reflect everybody else. How important is it for you to walk in your own individuality and be who you are, as long as you're not hurting yourself or anybody? Talk to that, sir.
It's super critical. It's the only thing that really matters at this point.
Yes, sir.
And I say that because we're stuck in a simulation. We're all suffering from identity crisis. We don't know who we are. We're just following what other people is telling us that what makes us happy. This is going to fill the void. That's going to fill the void. In my artistry, I've used music as a tool to heal me from the things that I don't understand, the things that other people don't understand, that they can't particularly interpret their own emotions to say. And you could sing a sentence that makes people feel the same thing that they would say, and it moves them so much more because there's so much emotion and passion and everything packed into it. So as an artist, I feel like it's very important to not only just get up here and wow people with the way that you sound, but to evoke an emotion that can help them, like, you know, move to whatever next phase or what stage, and maybe address some of the things that they've been avoiding, because a lot of times we live in avoidance. We live in a distracted world, super fast microwave society, everything quick. And I mean, we just saw 3 years ago what happens that will probably never happen again when the world shuts down and you have to face everything that's in front of you. Some of us moved past it, some of us didn't, but the ones that did heal and help, I see that it has, you know, made an impact on us really understanding that time is the currency and we have to really like take advantage of it.
So you really set me up for this next question. As a black man, as a man in general, you know, they say that we don't prioritize our health. We know that mental health is a part of health. It's not separate. Talk to, before we let you loose and sing, the importance of being mentally well and wellness.
I've dealt with mental illness since I was 14 years old. Multiple suicide attempt survivor. God is real. And like I said, it's that lack of understanding that makes us go to these extreme measures, because the things that we see up here are not really what appears in the natural and in the physical. We're fighting spiritual warfare, our minds and everything, our kids, our families. And, you know, my pastor, Tabernacle Praise, Pastor Monty Bino, told me on Sunday, he said, God doesn't give you the strength. He doesn't make your problems go away. He just gives you the strength to not deal with them or react to them a certain way. So, you know, thus the ability to gain the mental awareness and the self-awareness to become stronger and not become victim to these situations that we always we get faced with the same stuff and we react the same way as like we haven't been here before. And we're a lot stronger than we think we are. It's not as difficult as it may seem. The road to better mental health is really simple, but it's not easy. So just go to the steps, whether that's therapy, and therapy could be your friends, it could be your loved ones, it doesn't matter. Whatever, we have to start to reimagine tradition, right? Because a lot of tradition is misinformation, and our ignorance from that tradition sometimes gets in the way of us getting our own healing. And God gave us wisdom, and we got healing here, so be wise.
All right. Well, but sometimes my energy feeds off your response and energy. And so I had asked the mayor, we were talking about mass incarceration and violence one day, and you talk about the sort of the matrix and the system. How does one come out? It's the new year. Everybody is, you know, new year, new me and all of that. And let's stop frowning upon people that if they want to do it on their birthday, if they want to do it in the new year, if they want to do it Wednesday at 11 o'clock, if people are ready to make a change, let's do that, because you see, you know, some judgment about, oh, new year and everybody's doing that. Anyway, we're approaching that time. What advice would you give to someone that may be bogged down, they're not taking care of themselves, they're not prioritizing their wellness? What advice would you give for them to step out of that circle and move on to try to be more well?
Okay, absolutely. An ideology that I created for myself when I was going through like my transformation and not just weight loss was crawl, right? I created this company called Crawl. It's an acronym, but it's the first thing you learn when you're a child. And it's like one of the toughest things you do to get out of a bad spot, right? And at 4 a.m., God gave me this revelation about what crawl is. And crawl means conquer, restore, ascend, win, and live, right? And sometimes you're just in that space where you just got to crawl out of it, right?
Come, sir.
It's not about taking that big step. We live in a society where everything has to be a home run. Just get on base. Just get on base. It doesn't take that much. You don't have to become a millionaire overnight. You don't have to start 10 businesses to keep up with your friends, because entrepreneurship, if you're working your 9 to 5 and it feels good and it's establishing a stability for you and your family, don't feel like you have to change your occupation to make somebody else feel better, because truth is, we don't know what's going on in people's lives and their worlds in real life. So it may appear one thing, but you have to really just do some soul searching and do what feels good in your heart, and just like tune out the outside noise, but just crawl. You know what I mean? Get on your hands and knees, pray, and while you're down there, just take half a step just to get yourself to a better place. And I'm praying for you. And there's people out here that love you, and we have to do it collectively. We're a community, Ubuntu. I am who I am because of who we are. And again, thank you for having me. I appreciate it, Jimmy.
I got a couple more, but we're going to go ahead and let you loose. All right, last one, I promise. Social media and the Joneses. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You're a social media influencer, and a lot of people base their next step or what they're doing on what they see. And you talk about they don't know background. I said the same thing to Angela. They see this public thing, but you don't know the struggle. What advice would you give for telling folks to not allow themselves to, you know, that whole social media thing? I may not be able, because you got me kind of excited.
Yeah.
But don't keep up with the Joneses is all what I can think of right now. Can you speak to that? And then we're going to let you go.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, you have to you have to be careful about what you're digesting and what you're putting in your system, right? If you just rely on your feed to feed you, that's exactly what's going to happen. You're going to be fed, and you're going to process and digest everything that you're taking in. So just be very cautious or aware. You know, if you're going to do anything for the new year, go through that friend list. Go look and see what you're actually following. Go see what's popping up on your timeline, what the algorithm is telling you about yourself, because a lot of people don't understand the algorithm. The algorithm is just you. Everything you search, you'd be like, why am I looking this up? And then all of a sudden it's sending it to my phone because it's showing you what you are. They're trying to maximize taking advantage of everything that you act like you're not really doing, but that's really who you are. So we have to be very, very careful about the distractions that we choose, that we think are just passing the time when they're really feeding us and it's growing within us. So please be careful, follow some good blogs and some good people that have positivity, because your community determines where you ultimately end up.
Y'all can clap. The host and me got like 8 more, but we got to let this brother loose to sing. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Amandi Music, bringing to you the first Noel and my personal request, Oh Holy Night. I'm so looking forward to that last one. Amandi Music, put your hands together for him, accompanied by Mark Copeland.
Was to certain poor shepherds in fields as they lay, in fields where they lay keeping their sheep on a cold winter's night that was so deep. Nowhere The stars are brightly shining. It is the night of our dear Savior's birth. Long lay the world in sin and error pining, till He appeared and the soul felt His word. A thrill of hope, the weary world rejoices, for yonder breaks a new and glorious morn. Fall on your knees. Oh, hear the angels' voices on night divine, oh, night when Christ was born. Truly He taught us to love one another. His law is love, and His gospel is peace. Chains shall He break, for the slave is our brother, and all His praise will exalt His holy name. Sweet hymn of joy, in grateful chorus raise we, let all within us praise His name forever. Christ is the Lord. Oh, praise His name forever. His power and glory proclaim forevermore. On night divine, on night when Christ was born. On night divine, on night when Christ was born. Thank you so much. Merry Christmas and happy holidays, everybody.
Mondi, before you go, what
Oops, sorry about that. We're back. That was Amandi Music, and we are going to pick up and end today's show with Angela Elizabeth. Angie Sings, I believe, is the name that she goes by. Her stage name, I guess, like the governor says, and Joey calls me Java. Hers is Angie Elizabeth. So we're going to bring her in. I'll come back with some commentary and catch up with everyone after her performance. And again, we are just celebrating Christmas Eve and the holiday with sharing some music with you with some intentionality of trying to produce some joy, highlighting Black artists. So yes, we're about to listen to Angela Elizabeth, and we'll be back with you right after her songs as well.
have snow and mistletoe and presents under the tree. Christmas Eve will find me where the love light leads. I'll be home for Christmas, if only in my Christmas Eve will find me where the love light gleams. I'll be home for Christmas, if only in my dreams, if only in my dreams, yeah, if only in my dreams.
Next up with Angie is Winter Wonderland, but if I could just peek in with one more question. You talk about I'll be home for Christmas. One of the major components for an improved quality of life is housing. And she can speak to any and everything, and so I'm taking full advantage. How important is it that we prioritize equity in housing? There's a lot of development going on. You're in an area where they're doing that market rate, and Heath Street is changing.
Yep.
Housing, can you speak to that?
Well, on the landscape that we're in Boston, Massachusetts, housing is huge. It's a huge crisis at this point. At Martha Elliott, we do provide patient navigators who work with the housing developments. They work with Eversource, National Grid. We do all types of walk-in services where we're able to help families either find stable housing or find temporary housing, and we follow the families. Mm-hmm. We actually follow them, and we work with them because we don't want them to be lost to follow-up, because these are the patients that we're caring for.
Right.
So psychosocial issues, all of that's
play
important.
into health.
All of that's important. So we continue to do that work. I mean, I don't know how well we're doing because it's a lot. It's a lot happening. I mean, it's a small health center, and we have more than about 35,000 patients a year.
Wow.
So that's a lot.
Okay. So Martha Elliott, it sounds like it has changed from just being the community health center satellite on behalf of Children's There, more into a comprehensive sort of community health center. I mean, it is a community health center. I just left Mike Curry a few minutes ago, and so we definitely want to shout out the community health centers.
Yeah.
I think that's all I have from you. We're going to have to book you to come back on the show and talk about some other things. But ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Winter Wonderland. Angela Elizabeth is being accompanied by Mark Copeland and also Tyrone Chase. Put your hands together for Winter Wonderland, public domain, and her own rendition.
Let's swing it, y'all.
Uh-oh.
Sleigh bells ring, are you listening? In the lane, snow is glistening. Beautiful sight, we're happy tonight, walking in a winter wonderland. Gone away, here's a bluebird, here to stay is a new bird. Sing the love song as we go along, walking in a winter wonderland. In the meadow we can build a snowman and pretend that he is Parson Brown. He'll say, are you married? We'll say, no, man. You can do the job when you're in town. Later on, we'll conspire as we dream by the fire. Face unafraid, the plans that we made, walking in a winter wonderland. Hey. And pretend that he's Parson Brown. He'll say, are you married? We'll say, no, man. You can do the job when you're in town. Later on, we'll conspire as we dream by the fire. Face unafraid, the plans that we made, walking in the winter wonderland. Walking in the winter wonderland. Walking in the winter wonderland. Walking in the winter wonderland.
Put your hands together again for Angela Elizabeth.
So it was great to have those performances today, as well as also speaking with our governor. Thank all of you who are still here. We will give more greeting on Friday, but for those of you that are either, maybe on travel or not around on Friday, this is our last broadcast of the year. For some of you, those that are able to tune in on Friday, we'll be together on Friday at 1 p.m. in this conversation, part 2 of the intersection or intersections of yours truly. It's going to be hosted by Carlos Enriquez, and it's going to be a very real conversation. I'm telling y'all now, it's going to be very, it's going to be at 1 p.m., but it's going to give very 1 a.m. vibes. Carlos is I've known this brother for years. He's seen the evolution and transition. He's been a part of it in some areas, and those intersections are gonna get an update about them on Friday at 1 p.m. So please plan to join us. But for those of you that will not be with us on Friday, that tune in every Monday through Thursday up until September 16th at 9 a.m. And then in September, we switched over to 10 a.m. I really want to, one, thank you and appreciate you. Say happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Hanukkah. What's the other one? Happy Kwanzaa, Merry Christmas. And those are the main 3. I will also say, for those of you that don't celebrate any type of holiday or celebrate Christmas, we acknowledge you. Everybody knows that this space is opinionated space with a commentator of Christian faith experience. And so despite that, for those of you that don't celebrate, thank you for still tuning in for what we do 4 days a week, sharing information, bringing resources to the community for the purpose of them taking advantage of it, and also mobilization to get in and participate in things that will help produce an equitable quality of life for everyone, and especially the most marginalized communities. That's what we do. And we thank you for being a part of it. So For those of you that will not be here Friday, Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Hanukkah, Happy you're going to sit home and enjoy a day off. And for those of you that are working on Christmas, our first responders and our medical folks and firefighters and policemen and all of them, thank you for what you do. So that's it for me today. We'll see you on Friday at 1 p.m. I see quite a few comments in here. We'll review UC. It's not UCB, y'all. It's UC, Union Capital. I guess for 25, I'm going to start saying it right. Thank you. Miss Teresa's in the building. Miss T, we mentioned you earlier. I acknowledged your post on Facebook. And so, Sister Debbie, thank you. Beautiful show with the governor and music. Thank you, James. Thank you, Sister Debbie. It means a lot that you're here because you know the old Jimmy, James, and Knucklehead. So anyway, all right, folks. Vaughn is in the building. Before we go, today is Vaughn's birthday, everybody. I don't know if he's still here. This comment came in like 12 minutes ago. Vaughn, dude, every like, every share, every acknowledgement of everything that I do, put out, post on social media, you're the number one person that pops up in support. And as someone in a creative that social media is a big part of my bread and butter, dude, I appreciate you. So salute to you. Happy birthday, King. You all go in the comments and blow this man up. Go on his page, tell him happy birthday and all that. But to that good brother, we appreciate you, sir. And Miss Teresa. Yes, Miss Teresa came by here yesterday and dropped some stuff off. I got some dope hoodies. I got this. So yes, at 12:01 a.m. But Miss T, I'm not FaceTiming you. You're gonna get pictures. I'm gonna be right in here in little kid at 12:01 opening my my gift. When she dropped it, I'm not gonna lie, I came in the house yesterday and shook the bejesus out of it, and it didn't move. There's nothing. I have no idea what it is. So, Vaughn, we appreciate you, man, and to everyone else, we appreciate you. Merry Christmas. Kwanzaa's not till the 26th. I believe folks, our Jewish brothers and sisters, are in the middle of Kwanzaa, Hanukkah right now. So, all right, folks, we will see you on Friday at 1 p.m. After that, January 6th is the next time we'll be together live. At least from Monday and Tuesday of next week, I will share videos. I'm not going to be live, but we can pre-program past. Kenya said in here earlier to, I don't know if I want to re-air the Nick Collins conversation because I let my awareness of things get the better of me in the style and how I conducted myself in that debate of you, or the interbate, because that was the interview and the debate. So we'll share a couple of past shows on Monday and Tuesday, videos, not live. And then we won't be together until next year, January 6th. The longest I have been off live with you all ever. That week I was down for surgery. That was just a week. This is going to be, Tuesday will be, Friday's the last live. There's something called separation anxiety. So anyway, I'm out of here. Auntie Java is in the building. My knees, tea keeps you fleek. My N's and T's keep you fleek. Auntie, I think I got it right. All right, folks, I'm getting off of here because I don't have anything on the agenda until I think there might be one. I don't think there's anything next week. I got to send out some emails. Uncle Thaddeus, thank you. I saw your comment on my post. Yup. However you frame it. but in the context that I was speaking, it's a little bit, it's definitely that was, it's about the money, but thank you, Uncle Thaddeus, just period. Appreciate it. And we said earlier, and we know, Uncle Thaddeus, we know. And so we know, we love you, appreciate you, safe travel. And all day, Uncle. All right, folks, I'm off of here. You get your 90 minutes. And yes, we'll see you on Friday with Brother Carlos at 1 p.m. It's going to be a conversation. That is definitely going to be a conversation. Peace, y'all. Merry Christmas.